I'm LeGrand Elliott.
I'm Cindy Ayers Elliott.
And we have a brand new show called Ag and Culture. We'll be discussing all things agriculture.
But more specifically, how it affects farmers and ranchers of color with national and local guests.
And of course, we're talking culture, food, wine, health, politics, education, and so much more.
Join us for informative and fun conversation with guests from all over the country.
It's a fresh new show, Ag and Culture, every Tuesday morning at 9 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. on the East, and 7 a.m. on the West.
Watch us on our YouTube channel, MS Footprint Farms.
And on WeBelieve.global. Good morning. Welcome. Episode number 6 is Ag and Culture. I'm your host, LeGrand Elliott, and as always, riding shotgun is my co-host.
Good morning. I'm Cindy Ayers Elliott. Good morning, LeGrand.
Good morning, man. How was your weekend?
It was a great weekend.
Good.
Beautiful week to be working and planning. A lot of activities. We had visitors from the University of Michigan this week.
Oh, yeah. We did have some students, urban agricultural students from the University of Michigan.
Yeah, a great group with their professor from Harvard University.
Pretty exciting.
Yeah, it was.
Yep.
Great information. Good.
Absolutely. And of course, our show is about all things agriculture and specifically how it affects the Black community. Our show today and always is sponsored by our number one major sponsor, Heifer International USA.
Yay!
Who just so happens to be one of our guests today of Heifer. We're so excited. We're going to get into that. Good morning to everybody watching us on Facebook Live. Hit us up on Instagram, Footprint Farms. Website is footprintfarms.ms.com. You can always reach us at the farm, 601-910-5534. And this is a very interactive show, so we want you guys to, number one, subscribe to the channel, but also be interactive. We want to hear from you in all things that you may have questions or comments about agriculture. So we're hoping to really dive in and give you some really good information going forward as we discuss all things agriculture, but culture and politics and everything else.
Absolutely. And this morning, again, as you said, we got a great guest, a good friend, but a great guest, and it's going to bring so much information. And what's so great about this information, it is targeted just for Mississippians or in the area. Even though they do it for a lot of other places, this show and this talk is about how it affects Mississippi.
Yep. And before we get into that, I just want to go back, and if you guys missed episode 5, we had Mr. Lloyd Wright on,
yes,
who was the former director of the Civil Rights Division for the Department of Agriculture, U.S. Department of Agriculture. Just phenomenal. And I just challenge you guys, if you didn't get the chance to see it, go back and see that and just really let this guy really show you and break down where Black farmers and the state of Black agriculture is from where it was to where it is now, and how do we go forward. I was just so blessed to be able to have conducted the interview with Mr. Wright.
Absolutely. And then the show before that was with Eloise Spates, who is the executive director for the Policy Center for Socially Disadvantaged Ranchers and Farmers.
Absolutely.
And Dr. Wright, Lloyd, and sit on that board as well well as I get the pleasure of being in a room just taking in all this knowledge that they have, and I'm always excited about that.
Right. And also shouts out to all my Facebook buddies on Black-owned farms. It's a Facebook group that's all about current farmers, people who are exploring about farming. It's just a really good Facebook group to be a part of. Everybody is always so supportive. They're supportive of ag and culture and Footprint Farms. So shouts out to Black-owned farms on my Facebook buddies out there.
Absolutely. As well to all of our listeners and good at our Facebook page, to our Footprint Farms groups. We thank you so much for being a part of this and helping us to continue in what we're doing and bringing information. And shout out to Virginia State University. I got to be with them last night via Zoom.
That's right. How was that?
It was wonderful. A lot of young people on as well as farmers. So we had some good dialogue about what's happening right now and what's happening with urban farms, and especially Footprint.
Always exciting. So, I mean, how do you feel? I mean, we always ask other guests, but how do you feel? What do you think the state of Black agriculture is specifically in trying to get more of our young folks into agriculture?
I think it is prime time right now to look at it and get into it and understand more. I think that the careers that's a part of agriculture is so important for present and future, and for our students and people in general to understand what agriculture is and what it really means,
Right.
and the different parts that we all can play, from taking care of ourselves with health and our surroundings and taking care of the earth,
Sure.
but also about getting our students, our young people, more involved in the importance of the water,
Right.
the land and air.
Sure.
So I feel great about it. We still have to continue pushing. We can't stop. I mean, we have never stopped in anything we've done as Black people in this country. In spite of everything, we still rise. It reminds me of Maya Angelou. And still we rise. Imagine if we had tools truly to work with what we really could do. But in spite of that, we shall continue to push. The major changes is policies.
Yeah. Positive. Thank you, Dr. Az. So
You're
eloquently
welcome.
put.
Thank you, sir.
But thank you so much to our sponsor, Heifer International, for over 75 years. Heifer has been helping farmers sustain and make a good living all around the world, and they do it every day for people around the world. So I always challenge you to go to heifer.org, see what they're doing, and see how you can help Heifer continue their mission around the world. And with that being said, it's just such a great segue to announce our first guest from Heifer. They've been a sponsor since day one. We appreciate them so much. But they're live and direct this morning, and we have Miss Ruth Canada-Painter. She is the Heifer USA Engagement and Outreach Program Officer that's located in Little Rock. So good morning from Big Little Rock,
Good
Arkansas.
morning.
How are you?
Good morning.
Welcome to Ag and Culture. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here.
Well, Ms. Painter, we're so excited. I'm excited for you to be here because, like I said, Heifer has been with us since day one, since we started this. We're still new to this. This is episode 6, but we're so thankful for what you guys bring and what you're doing for agriculture around the world. And want to get you on this morning to talk about a few things, but I just want to back up and let people know exactly your pedigree and exactly who you are. You are a proud graduate of Lincoln University. One of our land grant HBCUs around the country. We're proud to have that. You are also, let me get this right because it's a mouthful, you are a Certified Ecological Outcome Verifier, which is an EOV, and we'll get into that exactly what that means and how that affects farming. But the thing that I'm really impressed about, you are a Certified Master Gardener. Yes. Which I want to definitely hear more about that and the great things that you are bringing aboard to Heifer. So without further ado, saying doctor, you're a doctor of gardening, so I will call you doctor in some way. Dr. Ruth Canada-Painter. Good morning, Ms. Painter. We'll just kind of let you start and let you go. And number one, exactly what your role is at Heifer and some of the great things that Heifer and you are doing in the state of Mississippi.
Well, good morning, everyone. I started with Heifer about 8 months ago. I relocated here from Jefferson City, Missouri, which is, the home of Lincoln University. That's right. Where I work at the College of Agriculture. And one of the first things that I was told is that you're going to be working in Mississippi a lot. And I had no clue what that meant. And as we started to talk, I realized that this was probably a dream job for me because I get to work with small farmers, under-resourced and diverse farmers, and I get to have fun doing it.
Well, good. Like I said, we're so glad to have you on and to really talk about that. And that's so needed from a technical standpoint to have your type of expertise that can go out and really help our farmers, not just kind of tell them what they need to do, but really put a plan of action in place to actually show them and help them actually follow through with those plans. So definitely that technical support and outreach is definitely needed, and we're so glad you guys have chosen the state of Mississippi to do that. In saying that, with the state of Mississippi, just talk a little bit about what you're doing. We've actually been running the promo from Heifer as it talks about the pork program that you guys have started in Mississippi. Can you expound on that for us?
Well, sure. Heifer USA is a little different than Heifer International, which, as you said, has been around for 75 years. But we're fairly new with what we're doing now with pork production in the state of Missouri. And we support small-scale, sustainable crop and livestock businesses. And one of our anchor farms is in Starkville, Mississippi. And, we help farmers get involved in pastured pork production. When I first came to start talking to people in Mississippi, I realized that swine, excuse me, had a really bad name because they were envisioning pigs in a barn, where you're hosing it down every night. And
Hmm.
regenerative agriculture is different. Pigs get to do what pigs do,
Hmm.
root in the forest and, get to be happy pigs.
Right.
So we work with farmers to get involved in pastured pork production, and we assist them with technical support. But most importantly, I think we find a market for their animals at the end of the process. So the farmer can really concentrate on being a farmer, not on having to go out and do marketing or figure out, okay, I've raised this, 80 pigs, so what am I going to do with them now?
Right.
So we work as a team. We work in collaboration with 3 separate entities that really support the farmer, and that's Heifer USA, Cypress Valley Meat Company, and Grassroots Farmers Cooperative.
Hmm.
And so by working with those 3 entities, we can sort of take a lot of the weight off the shoulders of the pork producer, of the farmer.
Yeah.
And we don't.
No.
Please.
I didn't want to stop you. I just want to go back before we went too far. When you say pastured pork production, I just wanted to just unpack that and just kind of let us know, or subscribers know, exactly when you say pastured pork production, what does that mean?
It means that the pigs are raised outside, first and foremost. They are not raised in an enclosed structure. They are raised in paddocks, and the pigs are constantly moving and rooting around in the ground, which is what pigs should do.
Hmm.
So every 7 to 10 days, our pigs are moved to a new pasture so they can continue to improve the earth and get healthy, nutritious food in addition to the supplemented food that we're giving them. Pigs like to root, they like to dig,
Hmm.
and we help farmers to set up that operation so pigs can be pigs. They're not enclosed and sitting on cement. They're just kind of roaming free.
Hmm.
Right. And then after that, Ruth, after they go from one paddock to the other, that earth is actually open and able to breathe. So it's actually healthy soil that you're really creating now where the pigs have been before they move to the next paddock, which
And
is so great.
the growing time allow those previous places where they've been to get to heal. I like to call it healing. The earth can heal as they move on to other locations within the property.
Hmm.
And the pigs are happier, the land is becoming better, and often, and I like to target this to people who might have land that's unused and it may have been inherited and it's just sitting there. That would be a great opportunity to come in and do something healthy for that land.
Absolutely, and that's why I'm so glad you're on the show to really kind of explain that program. And from the promo, and we've been running that basically. You should have at least 35 acres of land that is available to do this production. Correct me if I'm wrong, but you guys come in with the technical support. You help them, design and show them exactly how this should be set up from the water sources to feeding to all of those things, and how to move them from paddock to paddock. And also, the biggest thing you said, and I think that's what I think makes this so fascinating, this program so fascinating, is that you already have a market for the pork. So like you said, when I actually finish growing this and I get it up to whatever hanging weight that you guys say it needs to be, there's already a market for that. So at that point, I'm just waiting on the truck to come to load up that set of pork and let them go off to processing, correct?
That is correct.
Yeah.
That is correct. I think I want to go back to, you mentioned the land, and I mentioned that, land that might not be used. It is ideal if that land is, covered with tree canopy.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not a matter of going in, clearing trees. Those trees provide shade for the pigs.
Mm-hmm.
So really, and we use a 2-strand wire system to set up our paddock. So it's really not this huge investment in infrastructure of building buildings, and
Right.
it's a fairly clean operation. Actually, it's a very clean operation.
Yes.
Because we're moving the pigs periodically, so they're not And I think the perception is that, oh, it's a dirty enterprise. They're going to be wallowing in mud. Well, not so much.
Yeah.
Not so much.
No, and you're absolutely right. In the time that I was able to spend at the ranch to watch a day in the life and watch it and do it firsthand, you're absolutely right. You guys kind of have a concept with the swine, almost like a cattle operation, where you're actually moving those pigs just like you would move cattle, out of chutes and lanes into, other paddocks, on a few days rotational type basis. So it was very impressive. You're absolutely right. Usually when you roll up on some type of pork operation, you smell it, before you even turn onto the street. But I was really impressed that when you're actually out there in the way that you just described, that they're just kind of free range doing
Heifer
their thing.
USA is a nonprofit that supports small-scale, sustainable livestock businesses, and we are currently seeking individuals interested in pastured pork production in the state of Mississippi. Applicants should have access to at least 35 acres of land and be willing to participate in in-depth training, both online and in person at Heifer Ranch in Perryville, Arkansas. To learn about our operation, check out the Pastured Pigs playlist on the Heifer USA YouTube channel, or contact Farmer Engagement Specialist Ruth Canada at 501-391-5511.
Footprint Farms is a beautiful 68-acre vegetable and cattle farm located in Jackson, Mississippi, and is Mississippi's largest urban farm. The mission of Footprint Farms is to provide the community access to healthy food choices, introduce our youth to agriculture, and provide training and technical assistance to small farmers and ranchers. The farm is open to the public every Friday from 2:30 to 5:30 p.m. to purchase fresh produce or visit us at the Mississippi Farmers Market located near the fairgrounds in February. We accept all forms of payment, including EBT and SNAP benefits. Looking for a beautiful venue for your next wedding, family reunion, or dinner? Footprint Farms offers a 3,000 square foot facility on 5 beautiful acres, perfect for your next event. For more information, visit our website at footprintfarms.com, Facebook and Instagram at Footprint Farms, or call us at 601-910-5534. Footprint Farms, farm fresh, city sweet. Hey, we're back, Ag and Culture, episode number 6. Glad you're back with us. We're here with Ruth Canada-Painter. She is the Engagement Outreach Research Program Officer. Let me get that right, with Heifer USA. So before the break, we were talking about the pork process and obviously how it's done and how you guys do it in a sustainable way. Can you also share about, you mentioned that the land could kind of have trees and everything else on it. So just kind of what makes the 35 acres prime for doing this type of production if you have people out there who are actually interested in maybe looking at this program?
Well, I think I want to talk a little bit about the training for any farmer who might be interested, because this often comes up. Heifer can provide all of the training for a farmer who may not have ever been a farmer before.
Sure.
This might be a new venture that they want to get involved with. And Heifer has a 1,200-acre ranch in Perryville, Arkansas. Mm-hmm. Hopefully the pandemic will allow us to have visitors in soon.
Sure.
But in the meantime, we have a plethora of videos on the various facets of pig raising. So, that might be enough to get someone interested in thinking, yeah, I can do this, but what happens when the pigs are actually on my property? Well, we have a technical support team that will be with you every step of the way. We have the guys from Grassroots who can come out and help you to lay out that 35 acres with the measurements needed for the paddocks and things of that nature. Mm-hmm. We can also provide assistance with how to set up your water lines. We source the feed not only do we source the feeder pigs, but we source the feed as well. We find a market for your pigs at the end of the growing cycle. So, that 35 acres, it's your land. The pigs are doing what pigs do, and you as a new farmer or you as an experienced farmer will still have access to such a variety of technical support and hands-on. And I'm personally in touch with the farmer all the time, saying, how's it going? Can I help you in some way? Mm-hmm. In-person visits, a phone call away. So we really would like to encourage younger farmers to get involved, or people who might have thought, I'd like to get involved in some facet of farming, but I need that support to really get my feet wet or to really know what I'm doing. And so I would, we'd love to see younger Black farmers come into this kind of thing because, the land is the future. And
Yes.
getting people trained and understanding that this is a contribution to, in the future, feeding the community healthy, nutritious foods. So I think it's a win-win for everyone.
Yeah.
It really is, and then helping to take care of the earth at the same time. But what's so important about this, Ruth, is that, as you say, you don't have to be a farmer. You can actually just be changing careers or been a 4-H member, and now you're looking to do more in ag, and this is one way that you can actually start. And with all that technical assistance that you have coming in with this, it's easier to get started because it is a proven fact to how it should be set up, how big it should be. So that information is so important, and a lot of new farmers usually don't have this much TA when they're starting a new business.
Yeah.
So this is very important. And
Yeah.
what you're doing by being there and bringing all of this technical assistance and knowledge is major for any new business or any business to expand. And that's the other great part about it. You can be farming veggies, and if you have the land to expand, to go into swine or to look at that into pork.
And I think what makes this program really unique is that it's truly a turnkey operation, a turnkey agriculture operation. Like Ms. Canada said, they're helping you set it up. They're telling you all the things that you need to do and to show you how to do them. They're going to provide you the farrows, the piglets. They have already sourced the feed for them because they're using a special formulated mix, which is non-GMO, to ensure that you have a healthy swine population when you get ready to go. But I think the most important thing, and I just kind of go back to it, there's already a market established for your hogs once they get to the required weight, that a truck comes and just takes them away, and you kind of start the process back over again. So it's a very interesting concept, and I think if somebody wanted to dabble their toes in the water, so to speak, in agriculture, this is kind of one of those programs where it's very doable, and it really gives you a platform to really start seeing whether or not you want to get into farming operation.
And also with that, USDA, NRCS, as USDA, also have programs that you will qualify for once you become that farmer and you register your farm, your land with FSA. So there's other programs that can be integrated in with this that help you build your farm and to bring that expertise to you. So it is a wonderful program.
Yep. So back to you, Ms. Painter. So talk a little bit more about what you're doing in Mississippi. I know you mentioned that one of your first farms that started in Starkville, Mississippi. Are you guys looking to continue growth? Do you have other new farmers that are online that are getting ready to take advantage of this pork production program?
We do. Actually, I will be in Mississippi this week. We're talking to new potential farmers. And, we want to take our time. We really want to get to know the person who's interested. We want to make sure that it's a good fit for Heifer and that the farmer or the potential farmer know what they're getting into. So next week I'll be talking to 2 or 3 people, with the amount of land, and they're curious. They want to know, is this for them? One of the benefits of bringing more farmers on is that they can then network with each other. They can share experiences in addition to the technical assistance. It's like, I'm not in this alone. I can help other people to learn from what I've learned. So the goal is to really bring as many efficiencies into Mississippi as possible. You mentioned the non-GMO feed. We'd love to find a non-GMO source of feed in Mississippi. We'd love to bring on more farmers because the more farmers we have, then it gives us more ability to help that farmer see a greater profit.
Great. And having a volume of farmers together, again, also enhance the costs. And we always want to look at the bottom line to what it costs us to produce and the other side as well. But again, the great part is being able to network. So this is for young people, male and female. In fact, I know several of the new people that's looking are young people and they're females, which of course I'm encouraging more so. If you have land, don't just pay taxes on it, let it help you pay for it.
Absolutely.
To do some things. So this is another way we can get into it. Plus, again, it is that whole camaraderie of actually seeing it from beginning to end.
Yes, that's
and
exciting.
being able
That's
to go in and to really see what you're doing and the difference that you're making. And to me, that's always the important part.
Yep.
And I think it's also it's very powerful to know that you're doing this in a way that, our ancestors did. We didn't use fertilizer. We rotated our crops. We took care of our animal. So, when people say, oh, you're doing regenerative agriculture, we always did regenerative agriculture.
Right.
Out of necessity. And so when fertilizers came on the scene and, we started to look at different quantities, and it wasn't necessarily good for the health of the individual, the animal, or the land. So we're going back now to what I like to think of as a more responsible kind of farming, where we do farm. And, I think that's important. And there are, at this point, more and more women going back into maintainers of the land and stewards of the land. So I definitely encourage women to take this on. It's a very, you mentioned a turnkey operation. Yeah, it's work, but it's doable. It's very manageable.
Well, and we do a lot of work anyway. Just like with us in farming, it's a lot of work, but it's smart work, and we have a plan for that, and we're working the plan by utilizing great partnerships and teamwork and being able to share with each other. What's a good practice for you could be a good practice for me, and vice versa.
And
so that makes a difference.
It does. Yeah. And the thing that I really like and how you guys are bringing this to the 21st century is the e-commerce portion of it, where you guys actually have a cooperative processor that, not only do you process it, but you also have a regular online e-commerce market where I could go out, anyone can go out and purchase this grass-fed pork production or poultry or whatever else you guys have. Can you talk a little bit about your cooperative?
Yes, we work with Grassroots Cooperative, and we are partners with Grassroots, and people can order various cuts of meat through Grassroots e-commerce, and it's shipped and delivered right to your door. Wow. And it's quite a variety there. And I encourage anyone who's interested. Pork has had a bad name throughout the years, but I would say this is clean eating. You know the farmers that's raising your food, and that they're all committed to bringing the healthiest food possible to the table. So yeah, I think it's a win-win when farmers don't have to go out there and try to figure out where they're going to sell their market to. We develop the market, so it takes that responsibility off the shoulders of the farmer.
Which is major. Again, if you're farming, you want to stay on your land and you want to farm. You don't have to worry about this because it is a full circle. You got to have the marketing. You have to have the end user. So by you coming in to do all of this, you take so much weight off the shoulders. I just got to grow a great product, which is part of what I want to do anyway.
Right. Yep.
And I think the pandemic actually made us more conscious of the food supply chain.
Yes.
And how we get our food. And this is not new. People are starting to get more concerned about healthy eating and wanting to join the clean movement and eat food that was raised right. And Heifer is very involved in that.
Yep.
So that's one of the exciting things about what I do is I get to go out and talk to farmers. I get to go out and problem solve with them and help them to be better farmers.
Yep.
And that's a better farmer, better for your community, better for this earth. So, and you're making money at the same time. So that is truly a great entity to be a part of. And I love the videos. I've been watching the videos, going out just to look at and learning, again, things that I could actually put to practice with different ways just by looking and learning. So it's exciting, and you can see things differently. I'm looking at the land differently and what it could be used for.
Yeah.
And to be able to talk to someone else about it, I can say, listen, just go to the videos. Go look at that first, then let's talk, which has been a big help for us.
Yeah.
And we're so proud to be a part of this.
Absolutely.
Our videos are not just about pork production. At the ranch, we have 5 different species. We have poultry, we have sheep, we have cows, we have, pigs. And those videos sort of encompass that whole range that we do out at the farm. And farmers can learn from that in the privacy and luxury of their home.
Yes.
And we often do live streams where people can call in as we're doing the production and ask different questions from that.
I know I've been one of those. I just love to call. Listen, what are you growing and how are you growing this? And again, that's a best practice that we can institute where we are. If we're gardening and being a master gardener, I know you understand that. Or if we're farming, there's new techniques, and again, working smarter, not harder, and utilizing the proper tools that you don't need as much of as you thought, just by looking and knowing what not to do. So that's important.
Yep, it is.
Well, and I think we see this as trying to build those broken parts of the food system needed for diverse farmers to succeed. Because, you talked earlier about some of the history of agriculture and farming. And, I think farmers didn't always get the best deal. And this is a way to sort of level the playing field and allow Black farmers to be successful. BIPOC farmers are very much engaged in policy these days.
Right.
And, Heifer, we're not a political organization. We are a nonprofit organization that's doing good. So we want to work with farmers who want to go back to the land and, get their hands dirty again.
Yeah, and the beautiful part about that is that once we clean up, we can start all over again. But again, diversifying, looking at your farms, and this could be a big part of, even if you're doing veggies or row crops right now, there's a lot of other potentials that you can do to look at different revenue streams. And that's always exciting. And again, the piglets and the pigs are humanely raised, and until that day they go out to do their product, then what we have to do is to make sure that we're taking care of them.
Yep.
And we do that.
Ms. Painter, hold that thought. We're up against a break, but we definitely want to come back, and I want to hear more about what an EOV is and how that would be a good source on a farm. You're watching Agriculture, episode number 6. We'll be back right after the break.
Heifer USA is a leader in regenerative agricultural practices, like our pastured pork production operation. Raising pigs on pasture allows the animals to flourish in their natural habitat while building organic soil matter and restoring soil biodiversity. And we're sharing our knowledge with viewers like you with in-depth training videos on raising pastured pork, poultry, cattle, and sheep. Find us on YouTube at Heifer USA and join our online community of regenerative ranchers today.
Footprint Farms is a beautiful 68-acre vegetable and cattle farm located in Jackson, Mississippi, and is Mississippi's largest urban farm. The mission of Footprint Farms is to provide the community access to healthy food choices, introduce our youth to agriculture, and provide training and technical assistance to small farmers and ranchers. The farm is open to the public every Friday from 2:30 to 5:30 p.m. to purchase fresh produce or visit us at the Mississippi Farmers Market located near the fairgrounds in February. We accept all forms of payment, including EBT and SNAP benefits. Looking for a beautiful venue for your next wedding, family reunion, or dinner? Footprint Farms offers a 3,000 square foot facility on 5 beautiful acres, perfect for your next event. For more information, visit our website at footprintfarms.com, Facebook and Instagram at Footprint Farms, or call us at 601-910-5534. Footprint Farms, farm fresh, city sweet. Hey, welcome back to Ag and Culture, proudly sponsored by Heifer International USA. We're talking to Miss Ruth Canada-Painter. She is the Engagement and Outreach Program Officer for Heifer USA, located in globally headquartered in North Little Rock, Arkansas. And we've been talking about the pork production program and how that pork production program has started in Mississippi and where you guys are looking to go with that. So one part of it is the actual physical, getting everything ready to go from an infrastructure standpoint. Now comes the business part of it. So with that being said, you talked about you were basically an ecological outcome verifier, an EOV. So can you kind of basically go into that and kind of share with us exactly what an EOV is and how is that important to a farmer?
Well, it's actually a landscape assessment, and this assessment was developed by leading soil scientists, ecologists, agronomists, and a whole network of regenerative land managers around the world. And this process allows farmers to gauge the improvement in their land. And so, as a EOV outcome verifier, I am able to go out to the land sort of and help you develop a baseline of how healthy your soil is. And this is a non-punitive process. This is a great way for farmers to know how they're improving their land. So we look at a lot of different criteria. How brittle is your soil? How rapid your decomposition is happening on the land. And so we're looking at soil and carbon. How much carbon are you harvesting in your land? And so from year to year, that farmer can see the improvement in their soil. They can, we look at things like water and mineral energy flow, the mineral cycle, the water cycle. Everyone would like to think that, soil is healthy, but it's not all healthy.
Right.
So we look to see what kind of earthworm activity there, which is a high indicator that the soil is doing exactly what it should be doing. Soil has a life underneath that you don't see,
right.
But what you don't see helps what you see on top of that soil.
Yeah.
So it's a interesting process, and I'm still learning. But we've done 2 farms now and gone out and assessed. And it's interesting when you walk in a pasture. Now, even when I walk in my yard, I'm sort of assessing in the back of my mind.
Exactly.
Oh, should that be there? And what can I bring into this to make it better? So it's a great process, and it's through the Savory Institute, which is a great land to market sort of sourcing process. Because there's an increasing number of people who want to know, where was my food raised? How was it raised? And is it good for not only me, but is it good husbandry? Is it good practices?
Right. And that's exactly, so with this, is that a service that you guys offer, or you just kind of selectively go to farms? And the reason why I'm asking, for someone who is potentially looking at any type of agriculture farm and they do have land, is that something you would recommend they do before they even start with a plan on what they may grow or what they may raise on that land?
I think I would. Heifer is part of a hub, and under that hub we have, various land bases. And so I think it would be something for a farmer to know, okay, what kind of land am I working with here? Is it healthy? What could I do to improve the soil? How could I improve my grazing with the animals that's, on my property? And so right now we're working with those farms that are through grassroots. So we're only working with the farms that produce, the meats for us. But I think every farmer would benefit from having their land assessed to see what they could do to improve it.
Right, and that's a part of what's done with USDA NRCS for your land as well. When you go in and you become a part of that, they actually have the soil cons that come out to look at your property, and they can tell you. You might say, I want to grow potatoes on here, but once they do the soil test and look and say, this is not the best place for you to grow it because of this. And they help to look overall at what you have, to look at a whole development plan, so you can actually layer it over what you want to do to what's actually the best for you to do.
Are there fees for stuff like that? If somebody wants to actually look at that, are there fees associated with working with FSA or any of the USDA agencies?
No, if your farm is registered with USDA and you do this just with your land deeds or with your lease to take it down and get a farm number, then you're eligible for every program that they have and the information that comes with that from NRCS, which is the Natural Resource Conservation Services. All those services are free.
Okay. And that's for a lot of subscribers who either are in farming and maybe not know about some of these programs and some of the technical support that's out there. And I'm just glad that Ms. Painter, you can specifically speak to that and just how Heifer is offering that technical support. So it's not like it is maybe a turnkey type of operation, but you just don't put somebody in the program and just kick them to the curb and say good luck. We'll be back in a few months to collect the goods. You guys kind of do more than that, a little hand holding in the beginning, but also a real partnership, because the whole goal of this exercise is to make sure that the farmer is successful and profitable.
Yes.
That is so true. We don't just stick you out there and shake your hand and walk away. We stay involved in the process. I mean, I truly want to know how farmers are doing. So there's visits, there's phone calls, and I don't think that the farmer would ever feel alone. One of the things that, hopefully we can do soon is have farmers who are interested in this come out to the farm. Right now, this pandemic, I know we're all exhausted from it,
Sure.
but we do have a farm in Starkville that we could have an interested farmer just, go around and see how the property was set up and talk to someone who's doing this. My goal would be to have ag majors see what we're doing, because so often in the classroom, you are reading the content in the books, but you can't apply that to something real world.
Exactly.
And we have a robust internship program that, you can come out and experience in managing the land. You can get experience in horticulture. So Heifer has so much to offer, and it's pretty exciting when we can connect with those educational institutions so that students can actually get excited about this while they're still in college, and they can maybe reshape their major and understand the many applications of agriculture as an ag major. I don't think that students always understand that.
Right, they really don't. And this one you can actually put it to practice, which is so important. And looking to do any intern with any of the entities that you think you might want to go in is so important. But I agree, I'm hoping this pandemic goes soon, but until then we'll have to live with what we have. And by doing that, that means now we do more visual by going to the websites and looking at different things and being able to pick that information up, but we just don't stop. We can't stop learning, and we can't stop continuing to teach the importance of this. So it's all part of what we do and how this world is created. If this is what we have, then this is what we work with.
Yeah.
And we looked for the future, but right now, right in the present, this opportunity is here.
Yeah.
And there's no reason why we shouldn't take advantage of it.
Yeah, and I definitely want that. From our standpoint, we definitely want to always push that, especially when we have an entity such as Heifer for our, agriculture mechanical HBCUs around the country, to actually have a place where you can actually go, like you said, get your hands dirty. I think it's so important, especially for our HBC students, to know that there are avenues and internships, and there are organizations such as this that could really give you a first-class hand-on experience when it comes to getting your hands dirty as an agriculture major, or even a real potential agriculture major coming out of college. Because I'm assuming at this point, you're putting these practices and internships skewed more towards the actual college agriculture major. Is that correct? Or do you do something else that may involve high school students? Because I think the whole goal of this exercise is to make sure that we get more younger people, especially younger people of color, involved in the agriculture process.
We do work with high school students. I believe in March we're involved in something called the Maya Project, where we have high school students come out, and I'm going to be sitting on that panel helping them to sort of investigate different career options in the field of agriculture. And these are, I believe, 9th through 12th graders. So, I think the earlier you can be exposed to agriculture, the earlier you can see yourself doing that kind of work, the better. And often kids' first introduction to ag is 4-H or FFA.
Right.
And sometimes people choose careers based on seeing other people that look like them in that career. And so I think Heifer has an opportunity, and who can show that, anyone can do farming. And that, there's a place for you. There's a space for diverse students in the field of agriculture. And often, I don't think students hear that. They have this mental divide on, oh, that's what a farmer looked like. It could never be me. So the more exposure that kids can get to places like Footprint Farms and Heifer and some of our small scale farmers, I think it lets them know what's possible.
Absolutely.
And that's so true, and it's a new phase of farming, a new way, and that's the part that we want our youth and our 4-Hers or our farmers who's been farming for a long time to understand. Change is not bad. There's some things you can do differently.
Absolutely.
Or again, to look at ag. And some of these students that we're talking about could end up writing policies, and they could understand more of what it's truly about versus what it was just in the book. So anytime we can get that exposure, the better it is for all of us.
Yep. And we're going to talk throughout the show, but Ms. Painter, if someone is interested in hearing more about the pork production program, how do they get in contact with you and Heifer?
They can give me a call at 501-391-5511, and I will be happy to take that call and talk about what the first steps are. I think I mentioned earlier that, we don't rush the process. I really like to get to know some of the motivations of the farmer. I like to sit down and talk with that person and give them a comprehensive overview of what they're getting into. I want to meet the family. I want to answer questions. Because when a farmer come on board, they are becoming part of Heifer's family.
That's right.
So we really are intentional about giving them all the facts they need to make the decision, because we want this to be a win-win for everyone. So, give me a call. I'll literally come out and come to your house and sit down, or we can meet for coffee and, talk about what might this mean for your family. How are you hoping to integrate this into your current life, and hopefully we can find ways to do that so that it's workable. Right. So that would be the first step, is to reach out and give me a call, and we'll set up something and we'll talk.
Right. So some of the subscribers that may not be in Mississippi, but right now is Heifer just solely with this program? Are they just laser focused on Mississippi, but the intent is to move the program around the country to kind of continue to have a sustainability of sourcing food or production?
Yes. We're also looking in North Carolina right now, just doing some basic preliminary research there. My focus right now is Mississippi. I want to get Mississippi as productive as possible. I want to bring on as many farmers as possible. But yes, Heifer is always looking at very long-term tenure plans of what we can do. So we don't just swoop into the neighborhood and disappear. We like to think that, we're putting something in place that's legacy building, that might stay in the family for a long time.
Absolutely. So, and just looking at it, if someone started out, and I know these questions are common, and I'm glad some people will call you and share these questions with you, but the number is, okay, how many piglets are we talking? When you talk about,
time.
And then what's the harvest? What kind of harvest? Is it twice a year, once a year? People gonna always kind of have those questions going into it. So, could you maybe elaborate just a little bit?
Well, we would start a new farmer out with 75 pigs, and those pigs would grow into hogs within about 4 months, and then they would be headed to slaughter. Typically, we would have another load ready to come back onto the farm as that one is leaving off, with a couple weeks kind of a break, give the farmer a break. So probably you could do about 3 per year. And as the farmer gains more experience, we would then increase that 75 to...
Hold that thought. I know a lot of people want to hear that. We're up against the break. You're watching Ag and Culture, episode number 6. We're here with Heifer International USA. We'll be right back after this quick break.
At Heifer USA, we believe the backyard gardener can have a huge impact on their land, in their community, and on our climate. That's why we provide free virtual workshops for beginning, intermediate, and professional gardeners, teaching regenerative methods for growing healthy food while improving soil quality. Find us on YouTube at Heifer USA and join our online community of regenerative growers today.
Footprint Farms is a beautiful 68-acre vegetable and cattle farm located in Jackson, Mississippi, and is Mississippi's largest urban farm. The mission of Footprint Farms is to provide the community access to healthy food choices, introduce our youth to agriculture, and provide training and technical assistance to small farmers and ranchers. The farm is open to the public every Friday from 2:30 to 5:30 p.m. to purchase fresh produce or visit us at the Mississippi Farmers Market located near the fairgrounds in February. We accept all forms of payment, including EBT and SNAP benefits. Looking for a beautiful venue for your next wedding, family reunion, or dinner? Footprint Farms offers a 3,000 square foot facility on 5 beautiful acres, perfect for your next event. For more information, visit our website at footprintfarms.com, Facebook and Instagram at Footprint Farms, or call us at 601-910-5534. Footprint Farms, farm fresh, city sweet. Hey, we're back in the final segment of Ag and Culture, episode number 6. I'm your host, LeGrand Elliott, and my lovely co-host is...
I'm Cindy Ayers Elliott. Hello.
And we're just resetting everything. You know, this is our second show. We're doing an hour. It feels good. And thanks to Heifer and their efforts, we're now at an hour, and Miss Painter was on. She was like, oh my God, I know it was an hour. I thought it was just 30 minutes. But you see how time goes by really fast when you have a lot of great information to share and to really talk about some practical agricultural opportunities that we have right here in Mississippi. So thank you so much for Heifer International and USA for being such proud sponsors of this show. So back to what we were talking about, Ms. Painter, we were just kind of going over some of the top questions that I hear people ask me or talk about when they talk about pasture pork production is, how many piglets, how long does that take, how many times or a cycle do you do this, and what's the actual process from getting them there to feeding them to getting them onto processing? Can you just pick back up with that?
Sure. Typically, farmers start with about 75. Because that's a good number to allow the farmer to go through all of the various steps of getting the pigs raised into hogs and being taken to slaughter. And that's about a 4.5 month period of time. So starting out at 75 hopefully is a good learning for that farmer. But a farmer who is at full capacity is up to 400 pigs per year.
Okay. When you're at 400, is that on that same 35, or is it kind of ratio to where it takes a little bit more land to scale up to having 400? I just want to be clear, so people say, okay, I can grow 400 hogs on 35 acres. So can you kind of clarify that when you kind of scale out to that number?
Sure. If you can sort of envision the 35 acres, this acre plot is broken down to about 1.5 acres paddocks. And those paddocks are separated with wire fencing. And so those pigs are, constantly every 7 to 10 days, they're moving to another paddock. So 35, it's quite enough land. You're keeping the pigs moving at all times. But I think for a new farmer, taking on 400 at once would be too hard, okay?
Right.
So going, so call it baby steps, going up from 75 to maybe 100, 150, and by that second load of pigs, the farmer knows what to do. They've kind of gotten into a rhythm then.
Right.
So I always tell people, you're going to make sure that they're good in the morning. You're going to make sure they're good in the evening. But in the middle of the day, they're kind of taking care of themselves. You want to make sure your water is out. You want to make sure that the feeders are full. But it's not something you have to sit there and watch them all through the day.
All through the day, yeah.
And then, of course, now with technology, you can easily fly your drone over there, or you can actually have your cameras there to actually look at them. So there's so many ways with technology that it can be done, and we're excited about just the possibilities, and especially for Mississippians to be able to get on the ground floor, which is so important, starting from the beginning. You're not coming in with seconds, you're coming in with first, you're coming in with a plan that's executable because it's been done over and over again. I can't stress that enough. You're not just jumping into something. They know exactly what they're doing, how to raise, and they pass all of that on to you.
Yes.
And then stay in contact with you every day or every other day. It just depends on what you need. But everyone should not be afraid to look at doing something different. and should not be afraid to be the first to start in your generation, in
Right.
your family.
And
Something
they send you a check.
and it comes right when they pick up, so you know
Let's
exactly.
not forget about that part after all this hard work is done. But
Yes.
I think just once people get into it, or just anything agriculture, once you get out to the land, it's just something about it that it becomes something that not only are you making a living, it's something that you truly enjoy getting up in the morning and doing. So when you kind of have it like that, it's really not work, it's passion.
It's passion. It
Yeah,
is, and
yep.
we have that. And Ruth, I always encourage everyone not to name the piglets. They're so cute when they come. Not to name them. I have to name them Cash and Flo. So I have to
Yeah.
remember that.
Right.
But
Right.
they'll be so cute. And I mean, it's pigs. I said, but it's hogs. I said, but it's just something about nature and working
Yeah.
and seeing it grow from a piglet to the source that it's used for.
Yeah.
And we are part of that, so that's exciting.
You get to be your own boss. You get to set the rhythm of your day. You get to go out and see how your land is improving. And, this land is something that you hand down to the next generation. And you're showing the next generation how to be good stewards of the land. And, there's that cash in the flow. That's important too. So I am just so excited about this program. I love it when I come to Mississippi. Everyone is so welcoming, and I get to put on my mud boots and walk out in the field.
I love it. Yeah.
Yeah, we always say bring your boots, but that is the most beautiful part of it, is going out. And Mississippi loves you. We're just so happy that when you come in, that you're coming into Mississippi and giving us all of this knowledge and being able to help us direct and to direct some others into new ways of making a good, decent living.
Yeah. So Ms. Painter, once we get this pork production just off the chains in Mississippi, and we really are making some noise with it here, I'm a little bit biased. I'm a beef cattle guy. I love my babies. Are there any plans to bring that same type of program for beef and poultry to Mississippi as future aspirations for Heifer?
I wouldn't rule it out. Right now, I'm just honestly focused on the whole swine piece. But as we grow and put in efficiencies in Mississippi, I think the sky's the limit.
Yeah.
So I definitely would not say no. I think we just have to see what happens over the next year, and I'm expecting exciting things.
Yep.
Exciting things. So I wouldn't rule it out. But I think, LeGrand, you would get just as fond of the pigs as you are your beef babies, okay?
You know what? They're growing. It's growing on me. The process and just first of all, the humane way that the animal is treated from the time that you get them to the time they're actually processed. It was truly an honor to be able to see that from beginning to end, all the way to production, and just how people care for the animal, which I think if you care for the animal from beginning to end, I think that just increases the flavor and just the tenderness of the meat because the animal is not stressed. So I can really appreciate the way that you guys do it and the way that the practice, and it's so sustainable, and it can be legendary. I think if done right, it can scale up to the 400 and move on from there, and you kind of stumble upon a legacy, and it just so happened to be raising hogs, which is absolutely nothing wrong with that, because like you said, with the pandemic, it really shined an ugly light on where we are about our food and how important it is to know these days more so than ever exactly where your food is coming from, and just to know that you getting food that's following these processes and doing it as humanely as possible really ensures the public that you can really get fresh, quality, sustainable protein right here that's raised in Mississippi and being processed by some people who really take pride in that and definitely care for the animal up until the end. So, and it really shows. And like I say, again, the cooperative with grassroots is almost like a blue apron, if you will, but you can get some of the great ground turkey that's free range, the poultry, the grass-fed beef, and of course the pork. And it's just like, Hello Fresh or anything else. You just click, 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 and it goes to your door. Yep. And just to know that we have Mississippi farmers that made that possible, or they're playing in that space now with e-commerce and everything else to bring their poultry to market, or their hogs to market, is just phenomenal, and I think it's going to be a real game changer as agriculture progressed into the 22nd century.
Yeah. And overall, again, looking at farming, and this is just another finger on the hand of farming, but it's something that we need to start looking more closely at to what we can get into and be successful.
Yeah.
And then look, if this first is the first 35 acres, and then 2 years later, 3 years later, your brother or your cousin or your neighbor
Right.
is saying, I want to get in on this too. And the more we bring in and the more we work together, which is so important, the more we'll be able to strive independently, sustainably, and to be able to share for the next generations to come. And that's always exciting for me.
And we're excited about the economic development that, hopefully we can bring our collegiate partners around the state, Mississippi, together. Definitely our agriculture, mechanical, HBCU, who are kind of playing in some of those same spaces when it comes to pork production, that it will be an economic shot to Mississippi that we can partner with Heifer in the future, so we can bring these feed mills and set them in Mississippi, or we could raise these farrows in Mississippi, and not only the farmer benefits, but the state of Mississippi and agricultural community as a whole in Mississippi will win. So we're just very excited about not only what's getting ready to happen now, but just the plethora of great things that could happen for the state of Mississippi in the future, and having this partnership with Heifer.
Absolutely, and we're just, again, we're so proud to be a part of the Heifer family and to integrate more into it and bring more people. It's a big family, it's a big table, and they want everybody sitting at the table.
Absolutely.
So great.
Yep.
Well, thank you so much for letting me share with Heifer. I just wanted to say how excited we are to be in Mississippi, and we're looking forward to the future with bringing on new producers and really becoming as efficient as we can in the state of Mississippi. So I'm excited, and you guys have been such a help, and so thank you for all that you do as well.
Yes, ma'am. So just one more time before we go, we have a few more minutes, and we're going to hold you. You're almost at the hour, so the deal was you have to do an hour. So when you come to Mississippi, we're going to definitely take care of you when you get down here this week. But just one more time, if people are heard what we were talking about on the program this morning about the Pasture Pork program that Heifer is doing, give them the number one more time that they can contact you and maybe have a deeper conversation about it.
Sure. My number is 501-391-5511.
Okay, great.
And I would like to talk to anyone who's interested.
Great. And you can always text her if she doesn't answer right then. Just text her your name, and she will get back with you, because I know what it's like when the phone doesn't stop ringing.
Yeah, and we'll make sure that also that our social media team also puts your information up on our website. So if people maybe missed this or didn't get the number, of course you can always go back and watch the show again. You have to subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can rewind it and you can get her number. But if you don't want to do that, that's fine. You can go to our website and we'll have her information there, so that you can maybe talk with her and have a real conversation about, how do I plan my agriculture future? And Ms. Painter will definitely help you put together a roadmap that will be sustainable.
Absolutely. Tell everybody we said hello, and tell Ellen congratulations on the new baby.
Yes.
We're excited
Ellen
about
Brown,
that.
Congratulations on the baby.
Yeah.
We'll be sending gifts soon, and continue to spoil the baby.
And she's growing and starting to get vocal and wanting to chat. So we're having fun with Ellen's baby.
Oh man, that is so fun. But again, we can't say and begin to say how much we appreciate Heifer International USA for being our partner, but more so our friends as well, in the fight to keep sustainable agriculture alive and well for communities of color and communities all over for sustainability. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Join us next week for episode number 7 already.
7 already, wow.
Man, Ag and Culture. You can reach us at the farm, 601-910-5534. You need your next event coming up, give us a call. Ag and Culture, we out of here. We'll see you next week.
Farmers Market, March 1.
All right, see ya. I'm LeGrand Elliott.
I'm Cindy Ayers Elliott.
And we have a brand new show called Ag and Culture. We'll be discussing all things agriculture.
But more specifically, how it affects farmers and ranchers of color with national and local guests.
And of course, we're talking culture, food, wine, health, politics, education, and so much more.
Join us for informative and fun conversation with guests from all over the country.
It's a fresh new show, Ag and Culture, every Tuesday morning at 9 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. on the East, and 7 a.m. on the West.
Watch us on our YouTube channel, MS Footprint Farms.
And on WeBelieve.global. Footprint Farms is a beautiful 68-acre vegetable and cattle farm located in Jackson, Mississippi, and is Mississippi's largest urban farm. The mission of Footprint Farms is to provide the community access to healthy food choices, introduce our youth to agriculture, and provide training and technical assistance to small farmers and ranchers. The farm is open to the public every Friday from 2:30 to 5:30 p.m. to purchase fresh produce or visit us at the Mississippi Farmers Market located near the fairgrounds in February. We accept all forms of payment, including EBT and SNAP benefits. Looking for a beautiful venue for your next wedding, family reunion, or dinner? Footprint Farms offers a 3,000 square foot facility on 5 beautiful acres, perfect for your next event. For more information, visit our website at footprintfarms.com, Facebook and Instagram at Footprint Farms, or call us at 601-910-5534. Footprint Farms, farm fresh, city sweet.
Heifer USA is a nonprofit that supports small-scale, sustainable livestock businesses, and we are currently seeking individuals interested in pastured pork production in the state of Mississippi. Applicants should have access to at least 35 acres of land and be willing to participate in in-depth training, both online and in person at Heifer Ranch in Perryville, Arkansas. To learn about our operation, check out the Pastured Pigs playlist on the Heifer USA YouTube channel, or contact Farmer Engagement Specialist Ruth Canada at 501-391-5511.